All right, good morning, guys. Happy Hump Day Wednesday to you, and welcome to my NBA pick video for the day. Now, if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you're new here and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please feel free to do that right now as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, for those who don't already know, my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And, well, if you want to know what all of my picks are for this video right now, you can actually locate them in my quick pick recap at the end of the video. There's actually a link for that quick pick recap in the comment section below. Basically, it's every pick for this video kind of wrapped up in about 30 seconds. But if you want to stick around with me and kind of listen to the breakdowns here, we do have ourselves a handful of pretty strong angles here today. A lot of games in the NBA on a Wednesday, so let's go ahead and dive into it together. We got the games queued up, fired up, ready to go on the big screen behind me. I think that's Snoop Dogg behind me. Yeah, that is. That's Snoop Dogg, a.k.a. formerly Snoop Lion. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some NBA action. We're going to dive into... Man, we're really diving a lot. Why do I keep saying that? First game, Pacers versus the Bucks, 7 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Bucks are the 9-point favorite at home. Total's 232 juice to the over. And if you like the Pacers in an upset on the road here, they're plus $3 on the money line. Now, guys, we're 5-0 in our last 5 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. We also have a membership on that site called the Board Member Tier, and that package gives you access to every single pick that I give on that page as well. The Board Member package does cost more. We currently have a community of over 1,025 paid members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I'd love to have you. I strongly recommend it. And link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Pacers have covered the number in 3 out of their last 5. They're also 5-3 straight up on the road. They rank in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage on the road. They're also in the top 10 defensively in points allowed when traveling. Malcolm Brogdon scoring 23 points a game along with 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Meanwhile, Domantas Sabonis is scoring nearly 22 a night, dozen rebounds, 6 assists for the power forward. Now, Indy is taking on a Bucks team who lost 2 out of their last 3 themselves, and those were losses to the likes of Charlotte and New Orleans. Now, the Bucks have also failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 9. The Bucks are in the bottom 3 in the NBA in defending the 3-ball, and they also rank dead last in the association in free throw percentage at home. Milwaukee makes only 68% of their free throws at the Fiserv Forum. Now, total-wise, Milwaukee's 6-1 to the under in their last 7 meetings with the Pacers, 80% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Indiana Pacers plus 9 and the under 232. And once again, guys, if you're new to this channel here this week, I just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's NBA basketball action. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day to you. We're halfway in the week. The weekend's right around the corner, so congratulations. You've made it this far. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we've won our last 5 straight daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. Red hot right now. And if you want to unlock today's daily best play, it's just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. We also have a board member package that gives you access to every single pick I produce on that website as well. It's our top tier membership. And just a reminder here, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you sign up today, you're going to get billed today, and you're not going to get billed again until March 1st, unless you upgrade, of course. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and my Patreon site, Well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and typically focus in on just 4 to 5 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way versus wagering on every single game on the slate, side and total, like I do with my free leans here on YouTube. Now, we currently have a community of over 1,025 paid members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action yourself, once again, I'd love to have you. I strongly recommend it. And the link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on here, guys, we're going to take a look at the Sixers versus the Hornets. And that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Charlotte. Now, the Sixers are the 8-point favorite on the road here. Numbers 221.5. Now, Mike Scott's still out for Philadelphia. A little bit of a setback for him in practice. He's been pretty banged up this year. Another guy who's banged up, Joel Embiid. He's been battling back issues, so keep an eye on Joel as well. The Sixers are covering in just 40% of their road games, and they score just 108 points a night when they travel. Now, Philadelphia is in the bottom 10 in road offensive field goal percentage. They're also in the bottom 10 in shooting the three ball on the road as well. They're taking on a Charlotte team who's led by Gordon Hayward, who's scoring 23 points a game along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Devontae Graham's also scoring nearly 15 a night himself, 3 rebounds, 6 assists for the starting point guard. Graham's played in all 21 of Charlotte's ball games this season. Now, Charlotte's in the top 3 in defending the three ball at home, and they give up just 107 points a night at the Spectrum Center. The Hornets are also on a 3-game winning streak, and they successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 9. Now, total-wise, the Hornets are 70% to the under on their home court. Sixers are 60% to the under when they travel. I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the Charlotte Hornets +8 and the under 221.5. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Mavericks versus the Hawks, 7:30 p.m. East. The Dallas Mavericks are -2 on the road, totals 224 flat. Now, the Mavs are on a 6-game losing streak, just 1-9 against the spread in their last 10. Dallas is dead last in shooting the three ball, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. They're taking on an Atlanta squad who's 6-2 against the number in their last 8. And they also rank in the top 3 in offensive rebounding. Trae Young scoring 27 points a night along with 4 rebounds and 9 assists. Meanwhile, DeAndre Hunter is also getting over 17 a night himself, 5 rebounds and a couple assists for the 6'8 forward. Atlanta leads the NBA in defending the three ball at home, and they give up just 107 points a night at the State Farm Arena. Now, total-wise, Atlanta's 70% to the under in their last 10, 15-5 to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, Dallas saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Atlanta stay under the line. They're also 8-5 to the under on the road this season as well. I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog. It might be feast or famine here tonight. Give me the underdog, Atlanta Hawks +2 and the under 224. All right, next contest. We're looking at the Knicks versus the Bulls. 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off in the Windy City. Chicago's -3.5 at home, totals 216. Now, the Bulls have lost 3 out of their last 4, just 3-6 straight up at the United Center. Chicago's in the bottom 5 defensively in points allowed, bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, the Bulls allowed nearly 116 points a game. They're taking on a Knicks team who leads the NBA in defending the three ball, and they also allow just 103 points a game on the road. New York is also leading the league in defensive field goal percentage away from home. Julius Randle scores nearly 23 points a game along with 11 boards and 6 assists. Meanwhile, R.J. Barrett is scoring 18 points a game himself along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, 3 out of New York's last 6 did get over the total, throwing out their most recent outing. Meanwhile, 6 out of Chicago's last 9 got over the line themselves, throwing out their most recent contest themselves. The one more thing about the Bulls with regard to the total, they saw nearly 60% of their games for the entire season get over the line as well. So a fairly good amount of overs for this Bulls team. I'm going to lean toward the underdog New York Knicks +3.5 and the over 216. All right, next contest, it is going to be Rockets versus the Thunder, 8 p.m. East. Houston's -6 on the road, numbers 221.5. Now, this is a fairly substantive number to be laying on the road here. A lot of times I would probably shy away from laying this number, especially with kind of a new-look Houston team, but Houston's actually red hot right now. They've won their last 6 straight ball games, and they went 5-1 against the number in the process. Now, the Rockets are covering 60% of their games when they travel, and they're also winning 71% of their contests when favored. Houston's in the top 10 defensively in points allowed, top 5 in defending the 3-ball. Christian Wood is scoring over 23 points a game for Houston, 11 rebounds and 2 blocks for the 6'10 center. Meanwhile, Victor Oladipo scoring 21 points per contest for the Rockets through 7 games, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the longtime Pacer. Kind of odd you get, rid of one of the most iconic players in NBA over really the past decade, and your team gets better. That is something else. But anyway, they're taking on an OKC team who's on a 2-game losing streak, and they also dropped 7 out of their last 10. Now, the Thunder is a dismal 1-7 straight up at home this season, and they successfully covered the number in just 25% of those home games. OKC's dead last in defensive rebounding. They're also in the bottom 3 in points allowed at home. Thunder's giving up a staggering 124 points a night at the Chesapeake Energy Arena. Now, total-wise, 7 out of OKC's last 9 ball games got over the number, 75% to the over on their home court. Meanwhile, the Rockets saw their last 2 straight get over the line themselves, 60% to the over this year when they travel. Give me the Houston Rockets -6 and the over 221.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Wizards Heat, 8 p.m. East at South Beach. Miami's -8, totals 229.5. And if you like the Wizards in an upset on the road here, they're plus 270 on the money line. And for as bad as they've been this season, got to give it to them. Washington's still covering 50% of their games on the road, and they do find themselves in the top 3 in scoring. Bradley Beal scoring 35 points a game along with 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Meanwhile, Roy Hachimura is scoring 14 points a game along with 4 rebounds and a couple assists himself. And for as bad as the Wizards have been defensively, they're actually in the top 3 defensively in third quarter points allowed. Now, this is a pretty big number for Miami to cover here, in my opinion, with the way they've been playing this season. They're just 3-8 against the spread on their home court, and they went just 1-6 straight up in their last 7 ball games. Equally as bad, Miami's just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10, and they may have to go to work without the efforts of Bradley, Vincent, Dragic, and Hero. Meanwhile, Silva and Harkless are both out. Myers-Leonard's season is over with. Miami's dead last in the NBA in offensive rebounding, and they scored just 106 points a game at home. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Miami's last 8 stayed under the number. They're officially 6-5 to the over at the American Airlines Arena this year. Meanwhile, 4 out of Washington's last 8 road games stayed under the number themselves. We're going to go back to leaning toward yet another underdog here. Give me the underdog Washington Wizards +8 and the under 229.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Clippers versus the Cavaliers, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Now, LA's -9.5 in the second of a back-to-back, totals 217 flat. The Clippers gave up 124 points less than 24 hours ago to Brooklyn in a loss. They also failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 6. Now, LA is in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding. They may have to go to work once again without Patrick Beverley, who's battling a knee injury. Now, they're taking on a Cleveland squad who's 7-4 straight up on their home court. And they covered the number in 64% of those contests. The Cavs are in the top 10 defensively in points allowed. They're also in the top 10 in defensive rebounding at home. Colin Sexton scoring over 24 points a night, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting point guard. Meanwhile, Darius Garland is scoring 16 points a night himself, along with 3 rebounds and 6 assists. The Cavs are in the top 10 in three-point shooting at home. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, 6 out of Cleveland's last 9 got over the number. They're officially 6-5 to the over at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Meanwhile, the Clippers on the other side saw 3 out of their last 4 get over the line themselves. 7-5 to the over when they travel. Yep, you guessed it, guys. Another underdog. Give me the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 9.5 and the over 217. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Timberwolves versus the Spurs. 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Now the Spurs are -8. Numbers 224 flat. San Antonio's won 3 out of their last 5 ball games. 5-4 against the number in their last 9. The Spurs are making over 78% of their free throws, and they rank in the top 10 in fourth quarter scoring. DeMar DeRozan scoring 20 points a game along with 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Meanwhile, Keldon Johnson scoring 15 points a game himself along with 6 rebounds and 8 assists. Now they're taking on a Minnesota team who lost 8 out of their last 10, and they give up over 120 points a game on the road. As a matter of fact, the T-Wolves are just 1-8 straight up on the road this season, and they rank dead last in offensive field goal percentage away from home. Culver and Towns are still out. Russell and Reed are questionable, and when it comes to the number in this one, 3 out of Minnesota's last 5 got over the posted total, throwing out their most recent outing. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Spurs. Now, San Antonio saw their last 3 straight get over the line themselves. 5 out of their last 8 also got over the total. I'm going to lean toward the San Antonio Spurs -8 and the over 224. All right, next matchup. It is going to be the Phoenix Suns at the New Orleans Pelicans, 9:30 p.m. East. The Phoenix Suns are -3 on the road. Totals 222.5. And if you like the Pels at home here, they're plus $1.25 for some money line cash. Now the Pelicans have lost their last 2 straight. They're also just 3-7 straight up in their last 10. We're looking at a team who's really struggling over the past couple of weeks or so. New Orleans makes just 71% of their free throws, and they rank in the bottom 3 in three-point shooting. Meanwhile, defensively on the other end of the court, the Pels are giving up 115 points per contest at home. Now, Marshall and Adams are both questionable for the Pelicans. They're taking on a Suns team who, well, they won their last 3 straight, little 3-game winning streak for them. They also went 7-4 straight up on the road this season. Now, in addition to covering over 63% of their road games, the Suns are in the top 10 defensively in points allowed. They're also in the top 5 defensively in defending the 3-ball. Devin Booker's been upgraded to probable tonight. That's great news for Suns backers because he's getting 23 points a night, along with 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Meanwhile, Chris Paul's also scoring 17 a game, along with 5 boards and 9 assists himself. Paul's actually started in all 19 of Phoenix's games this season. Now, total-wise, 3 out of the Suns' last 5 did get over the line, throwing out one of the Dallas games. Meanwhile, Phoenix is also 70% to the over in their last 10 meetings with New Orleans. Meanwhile, the Pels on the other side of things, they went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 themselves. 7-2 to the over at the Smoothie King Center. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -3 and the over 222.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Celtics versus the Kings, 10 p.m. East at the Golden One Center. Boston is -1.5 on the road, numbers 226.5. And despite several sources listing Kemba Walker as questionable here tonight, I just think overall that Boston has a better roster in this spot here, regardless of whether Walker plays or not. Now, they're 4-1 against the number in their last 5 ball games, and they're in the top 10 in shooting the 3-ball. Jason Tatum is scoring 27 a night, along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown scoring over 26 points a game himself, along with 6 boards and 4 assists as well. The Celtics are in the top 3 in defensive rebounding on the road, and they also score 112 points a game when they travel. Now, they're taking on a Kings team who's just 4-7 against the number on their home court this season. Sacramento ranks dead last in defensive field goal percentage at home, and they also give up 122 points per contest at the Golden One Center. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Sacramento's last 9 got over the number, throwing out the Pelicans game. Meanwhile, Sacramento also went 7-4 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics -1.5 and the over 226 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by Patreon.com patreon.com/Brock Page, where we are 5-0 in our last 5 daily best plays on that site, 8-1 straight up in our last 9. Give me the Pacers +9 under 232, Hornets +8 under 221.5, Hawks +2 under 224, Knicks +3.5 over 216, Rockets -6 over 221.5, Wizards +8 under 229.5, Cavaliers +9.5 over 217, Spurs -8 over 224, Suns -3 over 222.5. Before I give you my next and final game for the show, one final reminder that you can access today's daily best play on Patreon for just $1.99 by clicking the link in the description section below. Please feel free to smash the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. You can also subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics -1.5 and the over 226.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into what do we do here? Our shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days. Shout out to Carl Douglas, Hamza Muhammad, M. James, Winston Ave, Light Abaddon, Jack Blumenberg, Beast Mode, Elisa Rodriguez, Marty McSuperfly, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Neandre Carriage. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also keep in mind if you end up getting a package here, all the cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So for example, if you get the $9.99 package here today, all the cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So if you get that package today, not only you're going to get billed today, but you're not going to get billed again until March 1st. And you're going to get all that content every single day until March 1st. Now, if you enroll in auto pay, it's just going to auto renew on March 1st, and you're going to get yet another kind of month full of picks. So, I don't know. I'm trying to explain it well to you. Really, the website explains it all, really kind of puts it, in proper detail. But anyway, guys, real quick, a lot of folks, when they sign up for a package on Patreon, some folks will use like all of my picks and play them. Some will use some will kind of like compare their picks to mine. And other folks will get in there and they'll just fade all my picks. And whatever you do, that's cool with me. You paid for it. No big deal. But what a lot of guys do is they end up getting that board member package that I was talking about a little bit earlier. The board member package gives you access to every single pick and post that I make on that Patreon site. And typically, once again, I make 4 to 5 premium picks a day on that site. And so what the board members will do is they get access to all those picks, and then they just parlay them. They do like a 4 to 5 leg parlay. So I don't recommend that. I'm not like a huge parlay guy, but that's what a lot of folks do. And I figured I'd let you know a little bit more about that. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page.